Where's this fantastic journey thing? Stage 1 unlocked. So let me look at this. Welcome. Based on your active fans in the past 30 days, you have been placed on stage 3. You can now add personalised elements to the level gift. Go.
Kim Kardashian tells a court in Paris that she thought she was going to be raped and killed during a robbery in 2016.
Club victory is now unlocked. Send it to celebrate with your team.
Plus, it's expected that the R&B singer Cassie will soon testify.
How can I send it?
Trial of her ex-boyfriend.
50 members contributed to the quest. Thanks for the contribution, Kerry, Ma.
This is Live in 30 Minutes with me, Darren. We'll have more, of course, on that US-Saudi trade agreement. Plus,
There's just 50 names there.
let's get a boost from UK pensions funds.
Born in Scotland, raised in Glasgow. How you doing, G, my man? Says Bazza boy. Ronnie saying you heard about the Pete Sullivan news. Sure have, lads. Caroline 82, are you cool?
Goodison Park is to become the permanent home for Everton women. The club says
That's decent, that.
proud to announce that Goodison Park will become the permanent home.
That's frost, that, mate. That's absolutely fantastic. For the area of Liverpool, and especially for that area of Walton. Is it not? Boss news. So Everton's football club, Goodison Park, which has moved to Bramley-Moore Dock, and you've seen the Boss Stadium you've got down there now, haven't you? Well, I've always thought the minute Everton moved from that stadium, that whole area deteriorates terribly. Now they've designated it to be the Women's Football Club, Everton Women's Football Club. That's boss. That's why you encourage if you've got young girls. You know, at the moment, the world of football for women and young girls isn't getting billions and billions pumped into it. But you give that sport another 5-10 years and there'll be billions getting pumped into that. Why? Because they want it the same as the men's football. It's going to have the same audience. It's going to generate the same division. So the way you've got Liverpool men and Everton men fighting with each other, 10 years down the line, 15 down the line, you're going to have Liverpool women and Everton women fighting each other. It's what football does. And trust me, lad, a gang of women fighting is different from a gang of men fighting. Proper different, isn't it?
By the side of a dual carriageway is a memorial to Diane Sindel.
Sure is, scrappy lad. That's what I'm saying. If you've got a young girl, 6, 7, start kicking a ball with her in the park. Show her some skills. Yes, too real deggy lad. Start getting her to play football. Get her coached up a little bit and just throw her in that space as a pastime sort of thing. You know, instead of like a career path. You know, keep her going to school and all that. She's only young. How are you, Sarah? Mate, you alright? Bazza boy.
He was convicted of murder. That conviction's been cautioned. It is thought to be the longest miscarriage of justice in British history. New tests of DNA evidence show someone else was the killer.
So new DNA evidence has ruled that he wasn't the murderer. Oh, his daughter's there as well, I think. Imagine being his daughter and your dad gets whipped for a mad crime like that. That he's not responsible for. How are you, Susan?
victim, Darren and her family, that, like I say, will be affected by this process.
Nobody felt safe. It was a very scary time.
Sophia
Fucking mad, innit?
led to the creation of this centre for the victims of sexual violence.
When you sit and think about the trauma this guy has gone through for 40 years.
What's that? Missed news.
Quite.
Got a fella called Peter Sullivan, like, he was convicted for a murder 38 years ago.
The biggest fear we've got is of the unknown. Now we've got an unknown.
Now they found fresh evidence and DNA proves that he couldn't have been a murderer, someone else has done it.
Encounter him. We might have encountered him. We don't know. We just know that he's out there.
Merseyside police say there have been significant developments in the use and understanding of DNA evidence, something that was in its infancy when Diane was murdered. They are now investigating who that new DNA profile belongs to and are asking all of those identified in the original investigation to provide a DNA sample. It's a murder that to this day sends a chill through this community.
Mad that, innit, eh? Imagine that, mate. Oh, no. He's not the only one.
Search for justice for Diane Simpson goes
He's not the only one. There's been loads from Liverpool who's been stitched like that. I remember one story where
Outside the wall called
there was a robbery.
a statement read by his
There was a robbery in a theatres, like a picture house on Toxteth Road, in Toxteth actually.
trial was very wrong. He said, I'm not angry.
And two fellas got nicked for it
Move on with his life in peace and quiet.
and got lifed off because the fella died.
It was unimaginable. We also
And one of them had called to do with it. Absolutely had nothing to do with it. And the police knew.
means for the victim
I forgot the fella's name now. But he got released.
39 years.
And then they still refused to give him compensation and all this shit, mate. Because they don't want to admit the guilt. It's what it is. Once they pay up, it's an admission of guilt.
We've got peace about, and now we've got to try and build a life around it.
And to them, the institute is more important than anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the police institution or whatever they're part of. Liverpool Council explains why Sefton Park chosen for big weekends. I'll tell you why. Because the students there. You're catering for the students, not the locals.
Now, as a result of what happened,
Ross saying 15 years to find out. It's terrible.
for the investigation into Diane Simpson's murder.
So imagine that. Imagine getting the evidence 15 years ago to say, look, I'm innocent.
Was making this
And then they keep on stalling it.
DNA. They said that investigation has been
Is that what you're on about? Is that what they've
They
done?
have been seeking DNA evidence samples from some of those whose names came up in the original investigation. They say they have tested those in Diane's family, her fiance at the time.
See, so even while he's in custody,
That screened 260
winning his appeal, the busies out here are using that DNA to test other people for years before he's even got out.
1986, but as a result
It's fucking horrible, that.
today we can say with certainty now that Peter Sullivan was not Diane Simpson's killer.
profile of there. Take you to the Middle East now. Donald Trump is in Saudi.
Very wrong, mate.
This afternoon, his first major
What about the thingy business who got robbed there?
White House.
Again, look at that. Another example of dirty bastards, mate, isn't it?
We just saw him a little bit earlier on this afternoon
Hey.
signing a
Don't you agree with me, no?
agreements with Saudi Arabia, strategic economic partnerships, and a number of deals on things from space, air
One sec.
transportation, energy, and health. Alongside him, along with him today, he's taken a load of businessmen with him, as well, of course, as Marco Rubio, the US.
That's boss for Goodison Park, that, mate. Great, lah.
They have all
That's probably some of the best news. The whole community. You've seen how many people have been selling up thinking that ground was getting shut down. Everyone's selling the properties dead fast and that, getting rid of them.
and investors.
They've been devastated now, all them.
Is there inside.
That's boss news, that.
described the-
Absolutely great, that, mate.
Around the same size as a
Anyway, look at this.
looking
Dragon's Den business owner says we failed as Stephen Bartlett breaks silence. Look in.
matter of years ago.
You had these kids from Liverpool, these lads from Liverpool,
Cheaper energy for the United States,
Ben Gallagher,
the Middle East,
Oliver Millar and Joe Gallagher.
capabilities
I don't know whether they're brothers.
towards Gaza and Russia and Ukraine.
But anyway, they've opened a business, haven't they?
His visit
Which was called
by the Crown Prince Mohammed
Luxe Collective.
Salman. They're very keen to to get deals with America as well, an important trading partner.
So they had this thing called Luxe Collective, didn't they?
Pleased to be meeting Woolworths.
And they were flying, weren't they? You used to see them all over the place selling all this Boss clothing.
Escort as
And then you seen them one day, the warehouse had been robbed.
Saudi Air Force F-15.
So I think they had something like £500,000 worth of stock stolen or something like that. And it's just ruined them, mate. Ruined them though.
Joe Biden back in 20.
Never ruin them. Ruin the business. Do you understand what I mean? And they're going to be damaged off, you know, cut up a little bit off it. They'll get over it, they'll get past it. They've still got the brains to move on and start again. But the financial difficulty that they've been placed in because some rats deliberately went and targeted their shop. And you see the clothes that got robbed, probably getting sold in that little shit, what's it called? Them little shit drug dealing fashion shops. What are they called? Them little shit ones in the middle of town, been bumping people for years and that. How are you, Big Gib? That's where the clothes are probably on the shelves in them places, mate. Honest to God, that's what it's like, innit? Yes, sir, right. Charlie. One hand just saying like flannels. CJNG. And there's another one, innit? There's another one where all the drug dealers go to. Yes, Carolina Cab. It's a murky world, isn't it? You see, so the point I'm making is this. So you see that Luxe Collective, the brand, these lads, they're not criminals, okay? They're legitimate lads. They've working hard to get the brand, to get the shops open, to get the work and get it the way it was, basically. One of the most successful entrepreneurs off Dragon's Den, weren't they, them young lads? So anyway, they're legit, but over there, in that shop over there, you've got a coke sniffing dickhead who's connected to organised crime groups. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And it's that criminal element that underlies the city of Liverpool. It's destroying everything. So you will have had a gang of criminals. You would have had a shop owner who already sells them types of clothes, already got a market for it, already got it all set up. Has said to a few people, get them, mate, I'll buy the lot off you in a flash. That's it, they just went and destroyed that legitimate kid to fully stock that coke sniffing rat. It's horrible. It's just horrible, mate. And you know the worst thing about it? Them rats will get nicked in 5 or 10 years and all of it goes to fuck. Whereas these will probably just about be back on the feet in 5 years off the damage them cunts have done.
But as well as that, there is the geopolitics, which is really
It's just like people are hating their own kind all over the gaff, innit?
he will be hoping that he can
Never used to get brought up, don't rob off your own.
to the United States. We know that
Where's that moral gone, mate?
progress in the Middle East in terms of the last
Did you get raised being told not to rob off your own?
Gaza strip yesterday, which highlighted the fact that
It's the first thing you get taught
were
in your house. Don't rob off in us. I think every kid has a little dip in the Mars purse. Yes, the healer. Don't they? Well, not every kid's got to. The healer. No morals left anymore, it's feral. There is, mate, but people protect the morals now, don't they? Morals are rare, mate, they're becoming priceless. Yes, Russ. Like, if you're of good moral conduct and moral compass and people look at you in a high moral level, if you like, then you avoid, don't you? So you're protecting your morals, you're not passing them on. You're not encouraging there to sort heads out and get some morals in them. You're just going for them. I'm not letting them damage this. Multi-million court battle over key Liverpool waterfront developments. There you go, another thing. Let's look at this. Who's fell through on this deal? That's how they cover it all. They just say, oh, another deal's fell through, oh, a company's gone bankrupt, oh this, oh that. In the meantime, we've just got empty apartment blocks splattered all over the city centre. That could be housing, in my opinion, in my mind, all these single young women who are in hostels and hotels next to people that they shouldn't be living next to. Kids living in... Do you understand? They should be housed before anyone else. Them young girls who have got kids trapped in these hostels and hotels and halfway houses, they should be getting put into proper accommodation. I've heard, and I don't know how true it is, that, you know, Home and Bargain, they're Scousers, aren't they? Well, Home and Bargain are Scousers apparently. I'm not sure who, why or how. I just know the Scousers. And I believe they went and spent something like £1 billion to put into property in Liverpool. Now, if they're Scousers, born and bred Scousers, they won't be making that property, in my little mind, they won't be making that property to just rent out and make maximum profit on it. You know, there'll be elements to this project what's going to impact on the city and the community and the people within it. Hopefully there's like 50 apartments, 50 young women with kids trapped in these shitholes with all people with addictions and mad criminal history and all this shit like that. I'm not saying it's bad living with people with addictions and shit. I'm just saying for children to be holed up in such accommodation, it's not good for them at all. Because you know what happens, and this is just like a natural process. All these that live on this land and that this girl lives in now think the good caring parents. Their own kids are being snatched for whatever reasons. The kids are being took off them. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're in this mad shithole on addictions, but now they're trying to act like a mother to this young girl's kid. This is what happens, you know. Before you know it, mate, got the kid on the hip while they're smashed out of the kite. And because there's numbers, the young girl feels a little bit intimidated. But that's the dynamics in some of them places. I'm not lying, that's the way it is. It's horrendous what we turn a blind eye to. How can us, as Liverpool King men, sit back and watch 17, 18, 19-year-old girls get kicked out of their house because they've had a baby to a drug dealer? The drug dealers are off, and now they're just left to their own devices, getting put in hostels. That's basically a smack house.
Let's bring in our business presenter, Darren.
How can you just think this is great?
And Darren, there's a lot of business deals being done on the side.
Have you seen how many flats are getting sprung up all over the gaff by these retired drug dealers? They've got apartments and flats and houses all over the gaff, and loads of them are empty.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd think to start giving back, wouldn't you? And going, you girl, you alright? I'll take universal credit on this from you. Don't worry about it. You get yourself in there, sort your life out. As long as I'm getting the universal credit every month, fantastic. These cunts are getting universal credit and saying, I want 250 cash on top. You know, instead of having some empathy for the damage they've done. You know, you're living in a nice 5-bedroom house, your kids have got everything they want. Why? Because you destroyed their mothers. And now you've got the audacity to charge them extortionate rates to get a roof over their heads. All these dirty, rotten scumbags, mate.
In sectors that include artificial intelligence and not least of all defence, and this is part of Donald Trump's shtick, if you like, that he is the deal maker. This is one of 3 nations he's going to visit on the 4-day tour of the Gulf. They're almost all trying to put on a better show than the other. He's going, of course, to Qatar.
See that?
United Arab Emirates.
Peel.
Next couple of days. But as I say, $600 billion, quite significant, not least of all that defence.
Looking for a bit of advice, Taylor. What is that, Taylor, lad?
Which was
Don't you miss the money, fella?
at the start of this year. But let's also not
You
be
can't miss money.
doubt that this deal is also
How can you miss money, lad?
for Saudi Arabia for 2 reasons, Jane.
So, do you think I sit here thinking,
where it invests its money in?
Oh, I miss you money.
Funds it wants to invest, particularly in Western America.
I miss me brother who hung himself, mate.
Wants the United States to
I
invest
miss
in Saudi Arabia
things
too. That's what we're seeing
that means
in
something.
those very advanced chips, which clearly
Like, I sit there
will need
and get upset about real stuff. I don't sit there and get upset about shit that appears, then disappears, like that.
It's expanding its tourism industry. It's preparing to mine. It's getting itself involved.
Taylor from Dublin.
With all of those sectors,
What's that
it's
mean,
going
lad?
to need the United States help. It's going to need
Looking a bit of advice.
Trump's help. And that's why this is a significant.
Don't you miss the money?
Not just
Shawnee T.
for President Trump.
Shawnee T says you can.
Saudi Arabia.
You don't miss the money. You miss the experience that the money brings.
Darren,
Don't you?
lots of high-profile business executives. We've got the Blackstone Group chief executive.
So you don't miss having 10 grand in your pocket. You miss having them clothes on your back and going down there in that boss car, don't you?
Yeah, it really has. When you go through that list today.
So you don't miss the money.
I mean, it's a who's
You miss the lifestyle the money brings. It's different.
in the business world, in the corporate world. We know there's been a bit of strain, it must be said, recently between American business and
But when you're a kid, you get caught up in that bullshit, don't you?
For example,
You know, you become materialistic.
not terribly happy with the terms
Especially when you're a scruff.
ago. And in addition to that, it must be said.
Well, let me rephrase that.
many others were very
Especially
happy,
when you're poor.
with the tariffs and the impact it might have on consumers.
There's a difference between a scruff and a poor kid.
His tariffs may lead to
You can have the richest drug dealer on your estate and he is a scruffy mother. You can have the poorest kid on your estate and he is the cleanest. So you shouldn't get people who are poor mixed up with people who are dirty. Because they're not the same thing.
If you like, when it comes to this $600 billion deal. And that is why they're alongside President Trump today, despite some differences in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Darren, the 600 billion.
Nice one, Gem Friday, lad, becoming a team member. Damo Biscuit.
Actually, it will be. Now, I have to say, this is obviously.
Curtis miss having access to what money brings.
Remember, there was a deal signed actually by the Saudis and the Americans back during his first visit in
It's the things that money don't bring that you miss the most when you haven't got.
$100 billion. In the end, actually, it only led to $15 billion worth.
The things that money doesn't bring are the things that you miss the most when everything gets taken from you. You're not asked about your house. You're not asked about your car. You're not asked about your watch. You're asked about your daughter. You're asked about your bird. It's a hard learning curve. Why? Because you should have known that when you were this side of the wall. Not now you're that side of the wall like a dickhead.
And in the UAE over the next couple of days.
Darren,
Yes, Shawnee
you
T.
know that as well as this,
Coop saying family memories.
for America,
Gem Friday.
separate real estate deals apparently also going to be discussed.
You see it all the time, don't you?
Out there. I mean, this is an extraordinary thing.
Like there was something on Sky News 2 nights ago about prison, and they interviewed 2 fellas.
A Saudi journalist and TV presenter, and it's my great
One
to be here with you today.
had just watched his son get shipped out from the same cell as him. Imagine being in jail with your son.
Influential bilateral.
He was buzzing with it. I'd want to ruin myself. If my son landed in prison, I would be devastated, ruined. I wouldn't be able to face the world. You've got son because the son's in jail with them. That's how f***ed it is.
With us today, 15 pivotal panel discussions
Some things money can't buy too, and to that what you said. Say Staggy. Why, what did I say, lad? Why, what are you coming about now?
Partnership agreements. Signed today, we're talking about 145 investment agreements totaling more than 300
How are you, Debs? 111
US
1.
dollars. What a momentum, what a moment. Yes. Oh yes. This is really energetic. And
You see what's happening with this meeting?
the business leaders represent
With this Saudi, the young prince.
partnership agreements to commemorate
Yes,
this
Barrington Wilson,
moment.
Finn Tony.
Honored to welcome His Royal Highness Prince Mohammed bin Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the 45th and 47th.
There's a few warrants outstanding around the world for certain people.
Welcome.
And I've told you a couple of times, mate. Watch in a year or two.
Join the business leaders
Watch Daniel Kinahan appear from nowhere without a single charge held to his name.
for a memorable
Yes, sir, right.
photograph.
Everyone around him convicted and sent to prison.
Deep appreciation for this moment and for
Crazy G,
distinguished
Sean,
leaders.
getting too hungry now.
We witness this moment, the
But I've only got a frying pan.
the trust
So how do I cook it in a frying pan?
nation shared by two nations to
Is it just the same, similar?
work together.
Just heat the pan up.
See the leaders at the center of this frame shaping the next phase of prosperity.
Is that right, Sean? What are you having for your dinners or your teas or whatever you call them?
Of America. And now, distinguished guests,
Cash saying chicken curry.
honored to welcome
Ahmed saying camel and rice.
Prince Mohammed
Louis D.
bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to deliver his speech. Welcome, Your Royal Highness. The stage is yours.
I just heard someone knock on my door.
What a moment! What a moment! What a moment!
Lisa's saying she's eating Scouse now. Look at you. Chicken and salad, says Kay. Sounds nice, mate.
My dear friend President,
What do you call that?
dear guests,
Chicken salad? Is that called like a...
welcome to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Saudi-US Investment Forum. Our two friendly countries have deep economic relations that began 92
I forgot what it's
years
called.
ago, specifically in 1933.
Gives your address and send some food. Do you think I am, lad?
With Standard Oil.
I'll make my own food right now on camera.
We meet today to deepen the strategic partnership.
Caesar salad says spread the love.
Economy based on natural resources.
Well, what's the nut salad?
Diversifying sources of income.
What's that one called? That's better, isn't it? Here's Carolina Cow. It's not a Caesar salad, is it? A Caesar salad's got ham in it, hasn't it? That's it, a Waldorf. A Waldorf salad. It's like Coops. Lewis Malacallan. Steak gravy fried rice. Sounds dirty, lad. Oh, you got steak gravy with fried rice, so you've got no steak. You just got... So basically, you've got gravy with fried rice. Messy, that's a messy meal, that, lad. That's a dirty scran, that, Lewis. What are you even thinking, lad? Honest to God. That's just a shit scran. You've went and got egg fried rice, and instead of banging fish sauce or something like that on it, you've just drenched it in the shittest gravy ever. What got into you, lad? You bang some chips on, lad, to drown the curry or the gravy.
such as technology and AI, which can transfer of knowledge and exchange of expertise.
Why are you speaking 1,000 miles an hour, kid? You're doing me from bouncing. Wow, did you hear him? 8 billion plus 1. Take it, it's 8 billion and 1 then, kid. Or is it 9 billion? I was going to say, what's he saying? I don't know, lad. And he was speaking English. I think it was the Saudi Arabian version of English. What's your dinner? Says Debbie Lee. I don't know. I was going to have chicken, but I haven't got a cooking pot. I've got a frying pan. And I don't feel confident cooking a chicken or bits of chicken in a frying pan. Shall I try and do it? Got some boss poses, haven't I, when you think about it? That's a boss pose, isn't it? Pull that off all the time. Watch. Simple. Emma Trigger Louise, what's happening, girl? What do you mean whole chicken? You can't cook a whole chicken in an iron pan, love. Where was you raised? You were raised on a campsite, you weren't you, girl? How many caravans were on it, love? A little 20. Yes, Debbie Lee, 495. Sarah Wright, what is? Speak to me, lad. It's going down in Brownstown, lads. Lee Kenny, shells, stir fry the chicken. Sounds interesting, lad. I only use butter though, don't I? I think you need to use oil in a pan, don't you? Otherwise it doesn't cook proper, does it? We've got Peter back and now we've got to try and build a life, and I hope you do, girl. Well, mate, he's got one mad... He's got a lot of adapting to do in, mate, to go from that to that. Wow. It's two extremes. Just imagine how deep he's been and how elevated he's going to be, and then the drop off. It's the drop off. It's when the shit hits the fan for you, mate. Although his situation's different from mine, it's got similarities in the process. So, although he done 38 years as an unconvicted man, dealing with that problem of being unconvicted, but no one's believing you, and being locked in for such a long time, the darkness of that situation and how lost he's become to the absorbing of medication and shit through them 30 years, to be released out of that dark hole to such levels of lightness, if you like. You see all that heavy load that's weighed him down has just been lifted off him, and like a balloon he's just went right up there, and he'll be feeling ecstatic, electric, and everything will be going to plan for him, but then the authorities will kick in and it'll just make him go, because in his mind he's left the system behind. In his mind he's got away from the feds, he's got away from the system, he's leaving it behind, and then he just claw him back in, gives him this PTSD mindset, triggers all mad shit in him, and then he becomes a recluse. And unless he's got a very, very understanding family or people around him, and I mean very understanding, Because mine was just 12 years in a dark hole. And coming out of that dark hole and going... and then dropping right back down. It's horrendous. So you can look at his situation and say tenfold my situation. So the horrendous mess I felt through this, he's going to feel 10 times over. The only similarity in both situations between his and mine is the elevation and the fall. Nothing else is going to be similar. The incarceration's similar, but not the same. Why? Because I've done a decade, he's done 3. 3 decades. Do you understand what he's missed? How old is the poor fella, mate? How old was this man when he was convicted, mate? Let's find that. That's disgusting, isn't it? You know, the more you think about it, the more horrible it gets, doesn't it? So this man has been found guilty. Years later, there was evidence to prove that he wasn't guilty. Spent 38 years in custody, for a murder he never done. Can't even find the story now for some reason. How old is he? Was he 29 when he went in? That's what I mean. 29-year-old man. He must have had kids by then, I'm guessing. 20, 19, it's when your dad starts having kids and that, innit? Even younger, actually. Your mother was younger anyway. So he's probably had a child in that. So look at the impact on the child and his family. Imagine having a boss brother, a boss son, a boss dad, loved and cared for women, or all this stuff, and then because the police needed someone for this offence, they just wrote this kid off, put the story around the kid, and give him a 38 rech. That's horrible, that, mate. It's what they can get away with. No one's going to get held account for that. He's just suffered 38 years of horrendous mad shit. Don't forget his offence. The offence he was convicted on made his jail 10 times harder. Now, if he would have got a 38 for being a gangbanger on a murder, he would have probably, float through his prison. But because he got a 38 for killing a woman and doing mad shit, allegedly, his jail would have been horrendous. Yes, the West fella, Fred. You got someone saying, Mr. Yardy is saying, the government is corrupt. Look what they are doing to Tommy. So you mean Tommy Robinson? Now what they're doing to Tommy Robinson is lawful. It's not corrupt. Again, don't get your shit in a twist. I'm not backing the feds against anyone. I'm just saying, when you've broke laws, there's consequences. Doesn't matter if the reason why he broke the laws was justifiable in his mind or their mind or everyone's mind. At the end of the day, there was laws, and due to his history with the establishment, he was only going to get dealt with one way if he broke the law. For example, if I go out and break the law, I know I'm not getting a second bite at no cherry, I'm getting locked off. So I don't break the law. Do you understand? It doesn't matter what point I'm trying to prove. Alright, well, let's just say, right, what he's done, 100%, you've got to respect him for lifting the lid on Telford. I keep on saying it. And if he's went out and thought to himself, I know I should not be releasing this content. I know I should not be uploading this content. And I know the consequences if I do upload this content. Now if he sat there and said, well, I'm willing to sacrifice myself so this content can be aired. If he's done that, well then he knew he was going to prison. He knew he was breaking laws when he uploaded it. You're forgetting the fact that he didn't run. You're forgetting the fact that, you know, when he understood he was wanted, he knew that moment when he was wanted that he is going to prison. He knew that. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's why when he's came in and he's handed himself in, before he handed himself in to where he was meant to go to court or wherever it was, he's told people, I'm going to jail here. This is how it is. It's got to be done. And he's gone to jail. Now when you enter the prison institutes in this country, it's a whole different ball game. It's got its own laws, it's got its own rules, it's got its own way of being in there. It's not like out here, although the process is the same. You can be arrested, you can be held on remand, and you can be judged and sentenced in prison exactly the way you can out here. Out here, if police get information to tell you your life's in risk, if they're watching a group of people and during that observation of this group of people, if they air this group discussing getting you and harming you, the police will come to your address out here and give you an Osman warning, a threat to life warning, and say, look, we've got information, your life's in danger, we're not going to tell you what it is, but we're advising you to get yourself safe. We can help you get yourself safe if you want it and you request it, okay? Now out here, you can vanish. Then police come to your door and give you a warrant saying your life's in risk. You can get up, pack a bag, and off to wherever you want and reduce the risk on yourself. Can't you? Now when you're in prison, you can't reduce the risk upon yourself. Only they can do that. Yeah, you can go to the officers and snitch and go, I need to change wing because my man's saying he's going to cut me. You can do that, but it's not alleviating the risk. It's making it more riskier for you on next wing. Why? Because you're snitching on man on first wing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, the prisoners and the governors knew Tommy Robinson was going to that prison before Tommy Robinson knew. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It's the way prisons are. You'll have a reception screw getting a phone call from the courts. Tommy's coming your ways. It's not even a reception screw. It's not even the courts. It's the operational control room or something. They'll ring up and go, Tommy Robinson's coming to your prison. That reception screw will say in front of the reception orderly, Tommy Robinson's coming here tonight. The kid on reception will go back at lunchtime, lockdown, and go, Tommy Robinson's coming over here tonight. Everyone's talking in the jail. So when Tommy lands, he's at risk. And he can't alleviate that risk. And if the authorities don't alleviate that risk for him, they can be sued, they can be charged, they can have compensation claims going at them. So they've got to cover their asses. So they will have said to him initially, when he's at reception, there's a threat on your life. Do you want protection? This is what they will have said to him. Do you want protection? Depending on what your answer is, depends on where you get located. Fact. It's the way it works. You ask anyone, go and ask that Yami B, he'll tell you straight, because he's done a lot of prison. When you land in the reception of a new prison and you've got a naughty price on your head, like me, the first thing they say to you is, you're at risk here, do you want protection, wing? Obviously, people like me go, you're messing. You'd be daft. There's loads of people with prices on their heads in the system. Never gets carried out. Loads do, but loads don't. But that's the first thing they do. Now, they will have said to Tommy Robinson, there's a severe risk for you in this prison. We've got you a cell on this wing. The majority of the people on this wing are orderlies and block orderlies and da-da-da-da-da-da. Do you want to go on there? He will have said no. Probably trying to get himself shipped out. I don't want to be here, it's unsafe for me, ship me up north. You know, one of them sorts of things, but it's backfired on him.